Hello, I'm Monickie Scott.
And this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us as we support and encourage women in their five-star living journey. Today, we get to shine the five-star spotlight on Dinisha Mingo, the CEO and Director of MHS Behavioral Services, where she and her team provide quality outpatient mental health services to children, adults, and families who experience depression, anxiety, trauma, and addictions, as well as ABA services for children with autism, both home and in clinic. Wow.
Yes. Denisha believes it is important to facilitate open, solution oriented dialogue about mental and behavioral health in the community so that those who are dealing with such stressors are not stigmatized but get the proper help. She is also a public speaker and has a passion for teaching and training. Welcome to the Five Star Living Show, Denisha.
Welcome, Denisha.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here tonight and discuss some amazing five-star living tips with y'all.
Awesome. That's so great. Welcome again. So, in a few moments, we will talk more about your journey. But first, let's talk five star.
Okay.
Okay. So, when you hear the words five star, what does that mean in your world?
Luxury. That's the first thought, right? Living the best that you can, optimal living, right? And that includes luxury. But I know a lot of times when we think of luxury, we are often thinking like physical luxury. But I know what you all are about. So when I think about it as it pertains specifically to this podcast, it means like living the best that you can mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that.
Absolutely. And so, what are some of the things that you feel brings balance into your life?
You know, it's changing for me, and it has changed quite a lot over the last couple of years. So one thing I think about balance is that it depends on what phase you are in your life. And so we always talk about like self-care and balance, but I don't think there's any one way to balance and be real. You know, you have to be realistic about what that looks like for you. And so sometimes that's getting this stuff done and working a little bit harder, and maybe your energy and your mojo can match that. More recently, for me, bringing balance in my life is learning to get a little bit more still because I am like a go person. And a lot of my closest people and loved ones say, like, you work too much. And I'm like, no, I don't, because it's just natural. Like I'm able to sustain what this is. But I will say, when I talk about recently, I'm talking about just like December and January, like that recent, like really learning to get still. And what I found for myself, I was blessed to be able to go to Costa Rica right after Christmas for a week. And I just got still. And I thought I was going to do more praying, more thinking, more talking. And I didn't. I just was silent and still. And it was amazing how things became so much more clearer to me just because my mind was able to shut off. So I am seeking to like find that space that I felt and connected with more regularly in my life so it doesn't take going to Costa Rica to get it.
Okay. Because that's how Stella did it.
I went by myself. The funny thing is, and people were like, no way you're going by yourself. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you trying to get your groove back. You trying to do Stella. And I'm like, I did get a groove of stillness and peace.
Yes, we all need that for sure. Thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners about how you are living five stars. Self care is definitely at the top of my list. Let's now get a little bit to your journey, Denisha. Let's talk about MHS Behavioral Services. What is it and who is it for?
So MHS stands for Mingo Health Solutions, and that's my last name. So it is an outpatient organization that serves the community in office as well as in home, doing therapy, counseling, and behavior intervention study treatment. We also do training so we have students who train with our organization. I have a training that I created and I teach for paraprofessionals. So it's for the community. And it's very interesting because when people talk about like who's your target population, and it's like, I know it's not a good business model to say everybody, but it really is. And I think it's about the structures that you put in place. So for me, we definitely want to provide the tools to people who need it, to the underserved. But every disorder or mental health support doesn't always look so severe or doesn't always have a ton of barriers. And so we don't seek to make anyone who come into our office feel like they don't belong. We proudly, are a group of mostly minority, but that's not like our approach to treatment. Like, we're just for the people. And so inclusive of that is providing these training opportunities, because if we don't build the workforce, if we don't allow space for paraprofessionals, for non-professionals and or paraprofessionals to train and get good training, then we won't have quality treatment in the community, right? And we'll have a more of a lack. And so that's a big part of what MHS is about. And I think we reach broader people. So even my trainings are not just for people who want to work for us. And I don't teach in a style that it's only for us. My hope is that the people who come through our trainings are getting instilled values of integrity, understanding that this is not the field to get into just for a job, because you're dealing with people's lives, and quality, effective treatment and caring about what they do, so that no matter where they go, they have those values and principles. And no matter who they touch and impact, they're effective in helping people.
Hey, this is a very big subject, especially in our community where, we have had to be so strong, but mental health is very real in our community. And so it's wonderful that you have this platform to be able to, assist individuals. But when did you know that this was your path? Like, not only did you open your own agency, but to dedicate your life to the mental health field. Amazing.
So funny thing is, I was planning on going to law school. I did law all throughout high school, my trial debate, and my mind was set. I remember taking a psychology class in high school and just really falling in love with it. And at that time, I was intersecting the both. It was into like forensics and all that. So I majored in my undergrad was in psychology, and I was working for a law firm for a year. And I ended up getting fired from that law firm. First time in my life ever being fired from a job, right? But while I was working there, I had decided, okay, I'm going to go to law school. But in order to apply to the program I wanted to apply to at UNLV, where I could get my PhD in educational psychology and my law degree, I had to do the master's in educational psychology. And so in that master's class, as I had just got fired from the law firm, someone was like, hey, there's this behavioral health outpatient work. And it was really flexible with my schedule. And so I started doing that work and I loved it. And I remember and I kind of advanced very quickly into other positions in it. People would always come to me for knowledge. And, when I wasn't the supervisor, they would think I was, just because it was just so natural to me. And so I remember at one point being at a crossroads, like, I didn't want to start my own business. And so I was like, I just need to get out of this field, because I was tired of running other people's businesses, but I couldn't leave. And I went on a job interview. First time not getting a job after an interview that I went for. And I just loved it. And so it was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I never left. And so for me, it was kind of like, in order to reach more people, I had a lot of just amazing experiences with my clients directly, but it was like, in order to reach more people, there's only one you. So you build an organization that's founded on the principles that you believe in, and do it. And so then I just kind of had to do it.
Hey,
and I've always said I live a life of service, right? This is just a lifestyle. And I'm blessed to be able to do what I love to do in my purpose since I was 22.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we definitely applaud you. And you know what? Sometimes the blessing is in getting fired, right? Because that was the gateway.
I was going to say the same thing. Nothing like a good firing to change your course. Like,
Because my mind was made up. And when you got your mindset on something, it's like, that's it. And I was a very goal-oriented person. So I probably would have just stuck it out.
Absolutely. So through it all, what have been some of the biggest obstacles or challenges you've had to overcome in this journey?
Well, definitely learning how to run a business. Mm-hmm. I was a natural leader and naturally good at behavioral health, but I was not a business owner. And in 2018, the Lord was like, because I used to say, I'm a leader and business is just one of the ways God uses me to lead. And in 2018, the guy was like, no, you a business owner. And I was running my business like a nonprofit. And I had to learn some stewardship and even just, I had to better myself. When I'm used to working very independently. So when you are working on your own, you go at your own pace, you can do, but it doesn't work like that when other people are dependent on you. So I just had to even strengthen some areas of my weakness, such as like procrastination, because it's not going to work for my organization. So I would say definitely just growing into being a good business owner, learning how to balance, learning how to set boundaries with my staff and my team, because I was one of those, like I said, running like a nonprofit, trying to help everybody, but not taking care of. And it was like, if you don't make sure these finances and this business is running right, then you won't be able to help anybody because you go close. So, you know, and yeah, just a lot of that, a lot of that. But
Oh,
it's
that's
been
some good
amazing,
stuff.
and I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Sounds like an aha moment. A lot of us
Yes.
have passions that fuel us, but yeah, you do have to put the business aspect behind it, and it gets a little bit tricky because you really want to focus on those things that you love. But just like you just said, but if you don't run the business, you can't help do the things that you love to do. So congratulations to you for, continuously working on balancing that and keeping it right and keeping MHS in the community. That is awesome. With that
Yes.
being said, what fuels you? Like what keeps you going?
Well, honestly, you know, there are times where it's like, I love what I do, but sometimes when I'm doing too much business and I'm not doing as much community stuff, I can get a little jaded. But I will tell you, seeing not having outcomes with clients. And another aspect of MHS, when I said for the community, is we do a lot of community advocacy, community summits, events, educating. That part as well, because it's not, I would say it's almost daily that someone's like, something you said touched me, or they call and they compliment the treatment and service they're getting with the therapist, or somebody will compliment how respectful and kind and helpful my admin was. So it's always those moments that are reminders of you're in the right place, you're doing the right work, you're doing the right thing. I will say most recently, my team, because being a person who's built so much, done so much rather on her own, MHS is the first thing that I've really built with other people. And while I spearheaded it and founded it, I did not build this on my own. I couldn't do it without my team. And I'll tell you now, like how you say, how do you keep with the passion? My plan is, okay, I need to get the structure in place the way I need so I can hire someone to do some of the things I don't want to do so I can keep doing some of the other things that I love. But I just have the amazing, best dynamic team in the world. I do. I believe it is the truth. And I will tell you, you know, people say your team is a reflection of you, or attitude is a reflection of leadership. And when I look at them, they're people that I respect, I admire, that make me proud. And I'm like, man, God, like if they're at any way, and I say it with the utmost humility, if they are a reflection of me, then I'm thankful for the kind of person I am, because looking at them lets me know I'm a good person, and I'm thankful for that.
Oh, I can feel that through the screen, Denisha. That is so honest and so humble, and I'm sure when your team hears that, they are going to be very touched as well to hear that. We hear a lot about mental health nowadays due to social media, celebrities being open about it. It's being pushed. Get a therapist, get a therapist, get a therapist. But therapy costs, right? So my question is, are you seeing a rise in people running to therapy, or what are you seeing out there?
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely been already an open discussion over the last few years, but I think last year let everybody know that hey, it's you need to get help. It's okay to talk. And with people being in isolation, everybody was experiencing the same thing at the same time. And so we definitely saw an increase in it. And so there are options. There are nonprofits, there are Solutions of Change that offers free therapy and counseling. MHS accepts insurance. And one of the things that we always do is like, we don't have to be the place. Like I told y'all, advocacy is what I'm about. Everybody is not the right fit for you, but we never let anybody call us without giving them a resource, or we'll call them back if we don't know someone already who accepts their insurance. But definitely an increase in the need and the demand, right?
Yeah, yeah, I imagine so. I imagine so.
So we have to do this success story moment because we're big about achievements. Before we, wrap it up, give us what is something that you're most proud of yourself for achieving, and maybe one person that you would like to give credit to that made a huge difference in your life.
Oh man, just one. So, I think my team was probably what I should have said for that, right? That was the success story. But we touch a lot of people. One of the things that we do is we take a family approach. And so even if we only work with one person at family, we will make sure we do what we can to engage everybody because we know that support system is needed. And I'm thinking of a particular family right now where we started working with them. Children was failing. One girl was at risk of not graduating high school. Dad didn't want to be involved. Their mom was overwhelmed and stressed out. And so over time, I told the providers, like, I don't care. You got to spend this much time with mom because she changes the trajectory. So because we were consistent, dad all of a sudden was very interested. Like, who are these people? They're not just showing up and hanging out, right? We were consistent. Yeah. He started becoming engaged. And mom was not a client, her children were, but she started going back to school. And I remember having a conversation with her because she would kind of reinforce their negative behaviors by defending them, like when they would act out at school and stuff. And so I had to have a heart-to-heart, those difficult conversations with her. And I prepared her that when you start changing, they're gonna lash out, right? But you stay consistent. And so mom ended up going back to school. She actually was deaf. And she ended up going back to school. She ended up following through with some parenting strategies. Dad started getting engaged, and her daughter, who was at risk of failing, not graduating high school, graduated. The two younger kids started doing well, performing in school, behaving better. And so, I mean, that's a very condensed version of like how it happened. But this was probably like in about 12 months, maybe like 14 months. I'm thinking like a year and 2 months. And so just working with her, although she wasn't our identified client, she didn't have the right insurance, changed the trajectory of that family. And our job was done, right? It doesn't mean that their life got perfect.
Yeah.
But so much more changed. Wow. And one person, there have been a lot of people, but I would just say, going back to my team, my right-hand lady, she's been there with me. I actually work with her at the law firm. And I remember when I started MHS, I told her, I said, I need you, because I used to watch her. She would do her thing, maybe text here or there, but always got her job done. And I was like, I need somebody like that who won't have to be micromanaged, who's integral, who gets their work done. And so she's been with me since the beginning. And
amazing.
She's the power.
Amazing. Wow.
So awesome. Dinisha, we're wrapping up. Please share with our listeners how they can find you online.
Oh, yeah. So you can always call our office at 702-848-1696.
One more time. A little slower.
702-848-1696. And if they call that number, they can connect with MHS or the nonprofit Solutions of Change for those who don't have insurance, or underinsured or undocumented. Our website is mhsbehavioralservices.com. And if you look me up on Instagram or Facebook or anything, Dinisha Mingo, you will find MHS if that's easier for you to find, and reach out to me and I'll make sure you get connected with the support you need.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you for listening to us and joining us on this 5-star day. We believe in you. We believe that you are going to have a more 5-star life starting right now.
Yes, and we know you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be right here with us. And so for that, we thank you. We look forward to seeing you on Facebook at 5-Star Living Show, and join us in the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle. Remember to laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by Flossie Flicks Photography, Monickie.com, Flossie Locks, and Meditate with Mo. Until next time, keep 5-star living.
And show us some love by subscribing on YouTube. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.